Hello out there. How is everyone? Welcome to Spreading Positivity with Miss Positivity. I am your host, Tanya, aka Miss Positivity. This is what I do. I love to come on and spread some positivity every now and then. Um, my tagline: empower, inspire, uplift. This is what I do. Am I always in a positive mood? Well, absolutely not. I am human. But when I am in a positive mood, I do my best to spread that positivity. And I also do my best to try to stay in a positive mood. Even when the bad happens, I try to find the good in it, right? Um, Even when I'm worried or concerned and, that little bit of doubt starts creeping in, I got to remember, where my help comes from and who I need to trust in and stop getting myself all upset. Okay, so I know at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, people are still coming home from work, people cooking dinner, people got to tend to the children. Maybe you like me and you work through the day on your 9 to 5, but then you come home in the evening and you get to your entrepreneur thing and your small business thing. Listen, I get it. So if you missed me this time around while I was live, just come back and watch the video and put hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. So, today we're going to be talking about my August blog, which is titled Live in Expectation. I love this. I love when God gave this to me because it just means a lot to me as far as, understanding how we should live our lives, what we shouldn't be concerned with, how to let go of doubts and self doubts and live in the expectation that God will provide what we need. And so I've jotted down a few notes because I'm still in the process of, writing a blog. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know it's coming. Y'all know how I do. I like sometimes it's written before, sometimes it's all in my mind and I got to get it out. So it's not quite written, but it will be, and it'll be on my website soon. But just kind of want to get into it again. Live in expectation. That's the August blog, and so just kind of want to briefly talk about what that is. So, we are called to live in expectation. Of believers in God, right? We are called to live in expectation, and it all goes back to living by faith, not by sight. Having the faith of a tiny mustard seed. Too bad I don't have the bracelet on it. My sister got me that literally is just a mustard seed that I wear actually quite a lot. And it's that wonderful reminder to help me understand that. But, these things have been promised by God, right? So we're supposed to live in expectation and not have any doubts, right, about any of the promises that God has made or any of the things that come up in life that we begin to doubt ourselves, right? So let's get into it a little bit. Again, I love to spread positivity. So when you are walking in expectation or living in expectation, you tend to have a more positive mindset. Now, again, like I said before, I recognize no one can be in a positive and a good mood all the time. It is just not possible. We are human. Things come up and, we're going to experience stuff. But quickly try to find ways to get out of that, negative spot or that sad moment or whatever it is you're having. Try to find ways to get out of it as soon as you can. Feel what you feel, right? But try to get out of that when you can. So, we should start having positive mindsets, and also, um, just understanding when we need to stop doubting ourselves, accepting what we can't do, and understanding what we can do. We should expect nothing but the best, right? Because we are children of God. But that also means that we're supposed to obey, right? I talk a lot about how we're just supposed to show up, or ask God, what is it that you'll have me to do today? I'm available to you, and begin to have that mindset of living in expectation that things are going to be well, things are going to work out in the way that they should. I don't have anything to worry about. We're not supposed to worry and fear, although we do that sometimes. Things come up things happen in life and it causes us to worry. It causes us to lose sleep at night. We try to have that faith and hold on to it, and we're praying. And I know I'm not the only one that goes through this. I know I'm not. You're still trying to hold on to your faith and you're still trying to pray, but that little piece of, doubt creeps up. And that's when we need to learn how to say, you know what? I'm not doubting God. I'm not doubting what's happening. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to ask him to show me what this lesson is that he's trying to teach me while I'm going through this, right? So that I can learn how to live in expectation and not have those doubts keep me trapped, right? And so some of the things is, I'd like to kind of talk about. I don't know if I have anyone out there watching. Let me check my comments and see who's on here. Which I think right now is just asking y'all to support me with some stars. But, that's just a Facebook thing, y'all. I don't post those things. That's Facebook doing that. You don't have to send me any stars if you don't want to. Okay. But if you want to talk to me, please do. Right. So, what are your expectations? And if you don't know, maybe you should start asking yourself those questions. What are you expecting out of life? What are you expecting for your health? What are you expecting for your family? What are you expecting with your finances? What are you expecting just daily? Like, what are your expectations? Somebody said, hey, thank you so much for showing up. What are those expectations that you have? And if you don't know, then maybe you should start asking yourself those questions, and start jotting down things, maybe things you never thought about, things that you never thought could come true or you have doubts about. Stop doubting and expect it, right? Because we're supposed to be living in greatness and expectation. Again, what are you expecting to happen in your life? And how do you let go and accept what will be? Now, that's a big one. I'm guilty of this one, right? Sometimes it's hard for us to accept what life brings, right? Because that's not how we planned it. I'm a planner, type A, that's me. So we didn't quite plan it out that way, but that's how things happen. So letting go of that expectation, right, of how something is supposed to be when it doesn't turn out that way, accepting it, accepting what has happened and accepting what that is supposed to be. And again, people might be like me, do you struggle with that? I know I do. Sometimes, we're human. We don't always have it figured out. Again, things happen, life happens, but that's the reality. But the good news, though, God already does know what's going to happen. He already has mapped it out. He knew us when we were formed in the womb. He knew what we were going to look like. He knew our color of our eyes. He knew what the sound of our voices. He knew what our personalities were going to be. He knew who we were going to meet in life. He puts people in place for us, right? And sometimes people reject their blessings or they reject people. And, you need to be mindful of that because maybe God is sending you these people in your life for a reason, right? So unless someone intentionally does something to you that just kind of rubs you the wrong way, or, you're like, hey, I've given this person like 10,000 chances and they just keep doing the same thing. That's something different. I'm talking about people like on your job, people in your entrepreneurship or your small business that God sends along to try to help you. Maybe he's sending them there for a purpose and for a reason. So again, he already knows what it is that he has for us. So that's how we should live our lives, knowing that God already knows how my day is going to go. He just told me to show up. He literally told me to show up. That's all I'm supposed to do, other than, of course, the obvious of, doing the things that we should as children of God. But showing up, asking God, what is it that you would have me to do today? And living in that expectation, right? He knows what motivates us. He knows what our destiny is. That's such great news. I'm so excited. And then some other things that you can begin to write down too, since we're living in expectation, we're going to start living in expectation, right? Is, what are some of your business expectations? So we have some small business owners out there, entrepreneurs that I see daily on the grind doing their thing. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. I'm sure that they put the time in. Hey, mother. Hey, ma. I call her ma, but we got this little thing where I call her mother. She call me daughter. Hey, ma, thank you so much for joining. But as entrepreneurs and small business owners, those who are successful at it, we tend to work some crazy hours, right? We up early in the morning, late at night, or working when other people aren't working, especially again, if you're like me and you work a 9 to 5, right? So you have to learn how to set those expectations for your business, right? What are those expectations? What is your 5-year plan? Let's just back up. What's your 1-year plan? Let's just go there. What is your plan for the year? Right. And if you can't map out that 1-year plan, then how can you map out your 5-year plan and your 10-year plan? Right. So it's having that type of mindset to learn how to run your business in expectation. So it also pertains to that. It also pertains to your relationships. This can be friendship, this can be romantic relationships, this can be your children, this can be your siblings, your parents, family members, relationships. What are your expectations in those relationships? Are you expecting to always get along with your sister, your brother? Are you expecting for your parents to support you or your family to support you in something? And maybe you are and they don't. Maybe you are and they do. And if they don't, then that's when you have to, again, just kind of step back a second and say, you know what? Just because someone is not supporting me in the way that I hoped that they would, right? That doesn't mean that these things aren't going to come to pass and that I still can't live in expectation for my relationship with this person. If you're married and you're made those vows and those obligations to this person, sometimes you ain't gonna, let's just be real, I don't like you sometimes. Okay. That don't mean I don't love you, but let's just be real about it, right? So setting those expectations in your relationships, right? Making sure that the other person understands what it is that you're trying to accomplish in that relationship, making sure you're on the same page, and also understanding that sometimes we have bad days. Again, sometimes we just have bad days. Sometimes we're going to get on each other's nerves, but when those things happen, when those moments come, try to learn how to think on the good times or walk away, get some fresh air, take a little breather, come back, and remember um, why that relationship exists. Remember why you love that person or that relationship is so important to you. So that's another way to live in expectation. So we talked about your business, we talked about your relationships, whatever they are, and then just life in general. Okay, let's just get on into it. Life happens. It happens. We think that our lives are going to turn out a certain way. I know I did. I know that there were certain things in my young age that I thought was going to happen as I became an adult. And you don't really know as a child about adult things because you're still a child. You don't have an adult mind. You don't really know what it means to be adulting. But adulting is something real. I feel like they should teach adulting classes if they don't already in these junior high and high schools, and finances 101 or something, right, to help us out here because it's real. The struggle is real, right, as they say. But just having those expectations in life in general, and sometimes things don't work out or go as planned. And I know for me, there were some things that just didn't work out as planned, but they in the end seemed to turn out to be blessings. It's some of those people would call blessings in disguise, right? um, you don't really see it at the moment, or when something happens you're kind of down on yourself, but it turns out to be that blessing in disguise. And that's when we start to live in that expectation that, you know what, Lord, this may not work out the way that I planned it, right? And you know how that, what the saying goes, like, go ahead and show God your plans, and watch him laugh, right? Because our plans are not, more than likely 9 times out of 10, they're not going to work out because it's not what God necessarily planned. Something else that was on my mind, I'm going to try to post it this week, is sometimes your walk is harder because your call is higher. I don't know if you heard what I said. Sometimes your walk is harder. It feels harder. It seems harder because your calling is higher. He calls us all to do things. Are you doing it? Are you doing what he called you to do? We talked about that before. And I don't remember which month it was. I don't know if that was May, June, but we talked about, are you called? Right? So he's called us to do something. We each have a gift. Apostle Keller, I don't know that if she's on, but on prayer this week, on her prayer line, she talked about how each of us have a gift, but have we used our gift? Do we know what our gifts are? Right? Thank you for this comment. Life is full of lessons, full of challenges, obstacles, and choices. This is so true. And these are the things that I was talking about as a kid or as a child. You don't really know that, right? You're a child, you're living your life, you're just having fun. Hopefully you're not growing up too fast, right? Because when that adult hit, it is what it is. You sure can't turn back the time and go backwards. So when those life lessons come, or when those things show up that you weren't expecting, that's when you have to ask, okay, God, what is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn? What is it that you want me to learn out of this? Show me what it is that I need to see, right? So you can quickly get out of that season, if you will, so that you can move on, right? You get past that challenge and now okay, I went through that. I'm strong enough to overcome it, and thank God for the blessing and move forward, right? Those obstacles, let me tell you something, they will knock you down. And again, sometimes if your calling is so strong and you're running and you're running and you're trying to get things accomplished and you get knocked down and you get or it seems to be more barriers than open doors. A few things can be going on there. First, let's just make sure that this is truly what God has called you to do, because it's very possible that it is. And again, like I said, but your struggle is a little bit harder because he's trying to call you to a higher position in life. And everything that we do, all of our gifts, our purpose, the things that we do daily, it is all designed to give God the glory, right? It's not for our benefit. A lot of us are out here in the community doing community things, uplifting others. I try to surround myself with people like that in my circle, or these new people that I'm out here meeting as I'm on this journey to spreading this positivity and doing my collaboration over competition conversations that we have on Saturdays in the months. I'm meeting great people, and because we're like-minded, right? We're like-minded. We have the same type of outcomes that we're trying to accomplish out in the community. That's all glorifying God. That's not designed to glorify us. We are working to glorify Him and to bring others to the kingdom, and in our different ways. I never said I was a preacher. I never got behind the pulpit to preach not one sermon. But what I do know that God gave me in my ministry is to reach out and spread positivity to other people, to empower, inspire, and uplift others. And that's what I try to do every single day. When I make my post, when I'm talking to my children, when I'm talking to my family members, my loved ones, when I'm talking to coworkers, and things don't quite go as we expected, or things happen and try to get you off task. Some people's assignment, I think Apostle Keller told me this, some people's assignments are to come and ruin your day. Are you going to allow them to ruin your day? Because that's the question. When that comes up, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to allow them to get you upset, get you all worked up? Or are you going to say, okay, God, I know where this is coming from. I'm going to trust you through this process because I'm living in expectation. I know I haven't done anything that I shouldn't have done. I know that I'm doing all the things that you have called me to do. I'm not going to allow this obstacle, as someone said, right? I'm not going to allow this obstacle to bring me down. but find a way to make it positive. The other thing is choices. Listen, he gave us all freedom of choice, each and every single one of us. Some choices we've made have been good choices. Choices we made have not been so good choices, right? But every single one of us living and breathing, okay? But that's the power that he gives us, of that power of free choice, right? But what I do like about it, when I've been in prayer about something and it's difficult to make a decision, because I know we've all been there too, where I just don't know what decision to make here. It's just very challenging to make a decision. You want to make sure you're making the right decision. I do feel like when you pray about it and you go about it, and it may not have been the decision that you should have made, God is still going to make a way for you, because you didn't just make that decision without consulting him, or without going into prayer, or without at least giving it some thought. So again, I think that all goes back to living in expectation, and how God is going to bless us and bring us out of things when we get there. So if we're already living in expectation, I'm not saying we don't have any worries. That's not realistic, but we shouldn't. If we pray, then we shouldn't worry, because if we're going to worry, then why are we praying, right? So when you pray about something and you give it to God, then you're supposed to leave it alone. But I'm sure a lot of us have been in those situations where it's challenging to, like, okay, I'm letting it go. But once you start seeing how God turns those things around for you, it gets, I promise, it gets easier and easier every time. When you start living your life in expectation of greatness, God promised us that. He already promised us that. We are his children. As long as we are doing what he has called us to do, we have the entitlement, to live in expectation, to live in greatness. And when those obstacles come, when those bad decisions happen, when those wrong choices are made, we can still know and trust and believe that God is going to work things out for us. His will, right? Not ours. Um, and not doubt ourselves, not doubt the situation, not beat ourselves up because we didn't make the right decision or the right choice, right? Because life happens. It just does. And I honestly, for me personally, I don't have regrets. There's people that, I've talked to before, and we've had conversations. And yes, God will always work it out. That is so true. And there's people I've talked to before, and didn't really know them, just having conversations. And they talked about regrets in life. And I had to really sit back and think about that one day years ago. Because again, I made a lot of choices that weren't the best choices at the time. And I had to look back and say, you know what? I don't have any regrets, because look at all the blessings out of the choices, right? There's blessings in that. There's a blessing in that storm, right? So he will work it all out if we allow him to, right? If we live in expectation that he is going to show up, he is going to bring us into greatness. He is going to give us the desires of our hearts. He's going to allow us to live our lives in expectation. Then that's what we would do. That's what we should do, and not get concerned about, well, what if, the what ifs. I had to learn to let the what ifs go a long time ago. People who plan their lives can sometimes get set up for failure. Planning is great. I need this to be very clear. I plan for most everything in my life, even on my job, I plan. I'm just saying, sometimes when you're that type of person who loves to plan, and that plan doesn't quite work out the way that you wanted it to, try to not beat yourself up. Try not to kick yourself, right? Just know that it worked out in the way that it was supposed to. I always say that God has a plan and a purpose for all things. He just does. And sometimes we don't necessarily know it or see it, or like, why is this happening, or understand it. But I promise you, with time, it will be revealed. you know, um, and that's how we should just learn to do. So we're going to live in expectation moving forward. I hope that you would go back and think about how you are living your life in expectation and what are some of the things that you need to do to allow yourself to live in expectation. Trusting that God is the leader of your life, and He's already walked ahead of you. He already knows what's down the path, right? Um, we just walk in expectation, live in expectation, trust Him and all that He has with our lives. Because again, as I said before, He knew us before we were formed in the womb. Let's just talk about it, y'all. And that's good stuff. He already knew you. He already knew me. We're just walking on this journey that we call life, and hopefully, our guide is God and Jesus, right? Um, reply. Yes, Dominique Alphonsonville. I think she was replying back to something. Yes, he always works it out. Life happens, things happen in our lives, and we don't understand why. And we're hurt, we're upset, we're frustrated. Um, but we have to know that, again, He has a plan and purpose for all things. And with time, and I know people don't want to hear that, but it is the truth. With time, He will show you. And most things are designed to make us stronger. Yeah. So I'm going to have that August blog posted soon, y'all. Sometime today, tomorrow. Just depends on my brain. I've already been writing, jotting down notes. But in the meantime, I do want to make sure that you all know and understand to also, let me see if I can, I've been trying to navigate y'all. So I'm also now on YouTube. Well, I've been on YouTube, but I need y'all to follow me on the YouTube channel, okay? And Miss Positivi-T. These live conversations, spreading positivity with Miss Positivi-T, as well as my collaboration over competition talks are also on my YouTube channel. So let's spread that word and get that word out. Again, read my blog, which will be on my website, misspositivity.com/blog. The August blog will be published soon. And if you haven't read the rest of them, go back from January and work your way on up to August, because I promise you it's a blessing in there for you. We are having our 6th annual Design with a Purpose event coming up October 21st in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm so excited. I'm telling y'all, this panel, oh my God, they are fire. Did you hear what I said? 6 amazing, God-fearing, bold, talented women. We're going to be talking about silent strength. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait. Y'all don't miss that. It's $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Name me one conference that charge out at. I'll wait. Okay, so I know we got $20 or $25. So go ahead and get your ticket early so you can save that $5, okay? Or if you didn't think about it, wait last minute, somebody drug you along, then pay $25 at the door, okay? But tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. They're on my website, misspositivity.com. They're on my Linktree /misspositivity and on all of my social pages of how you can actually get your ticket. Also, we are still nominating women for DWAP Awards. There are 6 categories: Author of Influence, Next Generation of Change, Game Changer, Woman-Owned Business, Woman to Watch, Woman of the Year. Those are our 6 categories. Nominate, y'all. We have until August 31st. There's been some wonderful, amazing women who have been nominated for these awards. Would love to see those continue to come on through. You also have until August 31st to accept your nomination. You must accept your nomination to be considered to go into the judging to win the award for that particular category. So excited about that as well. Looks like I got another comment over here. Let me see what that said. Somebody said, hello, whoever this is. Hey, listen, love when people join. Thank you so much for joining, taking the time to hang out with me. Miss Positivi-T, I appreciate you. And then very excited. I'm assuming that's about the event because I see the little fire emoji. So because it's going to be fire, y'all. So excited about it. Can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about designed with a purpose. I always said it was a movement, and it's moving along as God will have it to be. So thank y'all so much again for spending this Wednesday afternoon, or should say Wednesday evening, with me. I truly appreciate you all for taking the time out. If you come back and watch this, remember to do hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and please go read my blog. I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.